Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you a review of the Harmony Hub. The Harmony Hub is a central controller that lets you use your phone as a remote for your devices instead of using remote controls. The RRP of this device is £99, however it's been out quite a while and so you can actually pick one up for about £75 new, or if you shop around you can get some real bargains on second-hand ones. In the box with the device you get the Harmony Hub, you get an IR booster and a power cable. The hub design is quite small with nice rounded edges and sits pretty inconspicuously wherever you want to put it. The IR booster is a tiny device that probably needs to be a little bit on display, but again it's black with rounded edges and is really inconspicuous. This means that both devices tend to just blend in wherever you put them. The Harmony Hub is compatible with Apple and Android and has iPhone and iPad apps available. The real shame is that there's no Apple Watch app for it yet. To set up the device you simply download the Harmony app, plug in the Harmony Hub and follow the instructions on screen. When it comes to adding remotes you've got two ways of doing this. You can either put in the make and model number and search for Harmony database, or you can program in individual remote controls yourself. Of course, the former is much easier to do, but you may find yourself having to do the latter if you've got a slightly obscure make of TV. This can be a slightly complicated and long-winded process, but it is doable. Once you've done this and added any smart home things you want to add to the app, you can then set up activities. I'll talk a bit more about those later on. This is, however, a good time to talk about how the Harmony Hub actually works. Essentially, the Harmony Hub is a Wi-Fi connected infrared transmitter. What usually happens when you use a remote control is you'll press a button on your remote and the device that it's programmed to work with will recognise that infrared signal and realise what it needs to do. All infrared things operate on slightly different signals and channels, which means your TV doesn't accidentally operate your DVD player. This is also the reason that your LG television remote doesn't work with your Sony television. What the Harmony Hub does is it recognises these channels and signals and essentially mirrors them. This means when you press the power button for your television in your Harmony app, it sends that signal out to your television. The really good thing is that this extra middleman doesn't add any delay at all. So what devices can you add to the Harmony Hub? To start with, you can add up to 8 infrared devices that are in the same room as your hub. The reason it's got to be in the same room is because that's just how infrared works. This means you could add your TV, your DVD player, your Blu-ray player, your games console, or anything that has an infrared remote. As I said, if it's not in a database, you can add the controls yourself. In addition to this, you can also add a ton of smart devices. This means that it works with your Apple TV, Samsung SmartThings, Roku, Hue bulbs, Sonos speakers, and a few more things. If you want to know if your smart home stuff is compatible, check on their website first. This means that the app essentially acts as an all-in-one place for all of your smart home devices and your remote controls. You can also control it with your voice because they've got an Alexa skill. If you add this skill, you can then set up all sorts of simple commands for your activities and control things just using your voice. I found that this works okay, however, if you want to add extra activities once you've done the initial setup, you have to go back into the app, disable the skill, re-enable it, and then set it up again. But it does remember things that you've set up previously. The nice thing about this skill is you can add what they call friendly commands. This means you don't have to describe the whole activity, but you can just say, turn on, and then your friendly name. For example, turn on TV. Having mentioned the word activities a few times, this is a good time to talk about activities. Activities are simply recipes you can program into the Harmony Hub app to do specific tasks. For example, you could create one called Watch a Movie, and when you press that, it would change your television to the correct input for your DVD player, it would turn on your DVD player, and it might even change your lights to a particular colour. These activities are really useful and have got a huge amount of potential, however they're not necessarily smart, because what they tend to do, particularly when it comes to mirroring a remote, is copying a set of actions. An example of this is my Watch a Movie activity. My television is typically set to HDMI 1, which my Apple TV is plugged into. My DVD player is on HDMI 2. So when I set it up, I said this is the channel I'm going to normally be on, and this is the channel I'd like to be on. And so when I press Watch a Movie, it turns on my DVD player, but it also goes into my input menu, presses the down button once and presses OK. This is fine most of the time, however, if I've been watching a different channel on my television, it won't actually end up on the right channel. The other feature worth talking about is that once you're in an activity, you can use gestures to control different things. Gestures are basically 1 or 2 finger movements that you can set up to do all sorts of different things during that activity. For example, one finger swiping up can turn up the volume. The activities themselves can take a little bit of trial and error to get them set up and working properly, but you can go back and edit them. The app itself, as you probably guessed from my comments so far, does the job but can be a little bit clunky. A couple of things I found with it in particular is that menus can be a little bit hidden and it can be a little bit slow sometimes. That being said, it does get the job done, and when you've got a specific remote section open, that does seem to work quite well. It's also worth saying that because your controls and your activities are stored on the Harmony Hub itself, if you've got someone else in your house, they can just download the Harmony Hub, select your hub on your network, and they can have the same activities and controls that you've set up. You don't have to set it up on multiple devices. The other thing worth mentioning about the app is that there are a few added extras that are quite nice. One of those is the ability to add a sleep timer, so it will turn off after a particular amount of time. The other feature worth talking about is the out-of-home control. In theory, this means you can pre-program stuff when you're not at home. For example, if you wanted a TV program to record. The other nice feature I've already mentioned is gestures, although it is a little bit hidden in the settings menu. The other really good thing about the Harmony Hub and the app itself is you can have more than one hub. This means if you've got a couple of rooms with TVs in, you can have one in each of those rooms. So all in all, what is the verdict on the Harmony Hub? The Harmony Hub is a great way of bringing all your remote controls into one app and decluttering your coffee table. Being able to add smart home devices is also a really nice feature, and the ability to set up recipes, or rather activities that combine all of this, is a really good thing to have. I found that the infrared transmitting works really well, and it's much easier than trying to find different remotes wherever they've ended up. The only slight letdown, without being overly critical, is the app itself. And I say that simply because it can be difficult to get things set up, and sometimes it lags a little bit. For the most part, however, it is completely functional and usable. One ability that would have been really nice to have on the app would have been the ability to drag around the different controls on your remote. This would mean you could put your favourite controls on one screen, rather than having to swipe between screens. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, do stick them below and I'll try and answer them. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.